Labour Party's riddled with closet Tory scum, working with Tory papers, undermining everyone. Traitors to the members, traitors to the unions too, traitors to the country, and traitors to me and you. There are candidates for Parliament, they're the staff Labour employed. They're on the National Executive, and our chances they've destroyed. They take backhanders from investors and from the Israeli embassy. It's clear who they're representing, and it isn't you or me. They're shockingly racist, but shout anti-Semite a lot. In a party built on principles, that's a burden they haven't got. They'll cheat and lie and swindle to maintain Tory rule. Either the other party or with a closet Tory ghoul. They suspended left-wing members to remove their valid vote. In a leadership election is blatant cheating, please take note. They tried to stop our leader standing and bullied anyone they could. And they worked behind the scenes to stop us having the PM we should. They kept adding right-wing members to the party's NEC. There seemed to be no limit to their dishonesty. We're the biggest left-wing movement that we have seen, and so they undermined our efforts. They're the lowest of the low. In the election, the TV wouldn't broadcast the party's leading team. Instead, they'd interview right-wingers and Blair's old advisor, it would seem. So the country's biggest party were not allowed a voice. That was not an accident, it was a right-wing choice. They slandered the party's leader and never let him speak. It was pure propaganda for the Tories and their shape. Lies and scandalous ridicule on a constant drip feed. The press thought they could destroy him, and the Labour right agreed. When he stood aside, they suspended 2 left-wingers on the NEC, which meant that to count the leadership vote, they could bring in a right-wing company who had just fiddled the postal votes for the national election. Starmer was selected, but I don't think that would stand close inspection. Straight away Starmer started sacking left-wing activists and MPs, pushing for deselections in a campaign of hostilities. Staff who misdirected funding to sabotage our election and our cause. We're all forgiven and kept on, but they're right wing, so of course. Then Starmer pushed for policies to the right of the Tory lot, pushing for schools to open, ignoring concerns the unions got. He didn't hold Boris accountable for COVID deaths or Cummings' trip. His heart is more set on attacking his own left-wing ship. He chose a general secretary who ignored policies conference agreed, and to letters of concern from members he paid little heed. He told local members what they can and can't discuss. He overturned decisions of the NEC and unions no longer trust. Now the Tory infiltrators are in their element. Left-wing ideals are buried as their paymasters had meant. They've established their control. Democracy is circumvent. And at the next election, to Tory parties will be sent. Then Starmer suspended Corbyn, stood back and took the flag. Then the other right-wing MPs made sure he had no way back. His plan was to be the hatchet man and then to stand down. So Labour's next right-wing leader won't have to have them around. At no time in the future will somebody left-wing be allowed to stand for any Labour office. The right wing will have vowed, and they now control everything and have removed all democracy. Labour's no longer a party to represent you and me. In the Labour Party now, there is just too much to fix. We need a new party to rise like a phoenix, to offer our great nation a party for government who care. We need to take Labour members, unions and politicians from everywhere. We need to leave the brand. It's now cancerous to the core. Leave behind all that's rotten and start as we did once before. At the head we need a figure. Corbyn would be ideal. If we don't, we'll always be led by the Tories, I feel. Having no way back doesn't mean that there's no way on. We need to champion what is right and to call out what is wrong. We need to show the doubters that we can succeed. For that right-wing change, the Labour forge, we need to be freed.